we got a new shipment in today. We got another shipment actually coming in tomorrow. But we've been building up some of our war game selection recently. We got. I haven't played this one particularly, but it's been recommended by some other stores around the country. I've been talking about building up our war game selection for the more hardcore war game fan. But this is Civil War. I haven't played it. As you can tell, it's pretty complicated looking. And has like the old style, like chips, kind of like Avalon Hill type stuff. If you Panzer Blitz, that type of thing. Avalon Hill, a lot of those names are kind of like spread to the wind, but they still make war type games of that ilk. And this is like just one of them. We also got a more modern take on it, which is a popular system called the Command and Color system. There's a more popular one called Memoir 44 that we've been had for a while, but I'll show you that in a second. Basically, this one, you have this. You'll have a hand of cards, and the battlefield usually is divided into thirds, that sort of thing. So you have play one of these cards, and you can move the troops in that section. It's like that. What does this one say? See, order heavy troops. So you can move those heavy troops if you play that card in that little area. So it's more well known for Memoir 44, which is a pretty accessible type of system. It's obviously it's going to be more complex than say something like Risk, but it does that same type of thing where you have these cards, all these different types of cards you can play, and you move those little troops in the battlefield. And there's a whole bunch of different expansions for it. There's a bunch of expansions for the other system as well. The Ancients version. There's also a Napoleon style one. It's more historically based in the Napoleon era. They were out of that one. Otherwise, we'd probably have it right now. But this one's like more the ancient battlefield. There's some expansions for it we'll be getting later on. But right now we just got the base game. We tend to like test the waters on some new editions. We'll get the base games, and then when we reorder, we get the expansion. Get some expansions for as interest builds. Then we got this one based on another recommendation from another store. I haven't played this one. Basically, it's more of a modern warfare card game. It's not really your typical like battles and maps type of game, but it's a little more of a card-based combat game set in the modern era. But I haven't played it, so I can't really say a whole lot. Then we got Thunder Alley. This is also by GMT. GMT is the ones that has the Command and Colors of the Ancients, and also the Civil War. So they make a lot of like the heavier war type games. But this one is, I haven't played it, but I heard it seems a little bit more complicated than say like Formula D. But it's a race game. It was like highly recommended on Dice Tower. I saw the review on it, and he's like raving over it. But it's heavy. It's like you can't tell on this camera, but there's a lot of stuff in there. So it goes like 2 to 7 players for ages 14 and up. That's a bit of a tip. Like if you're trying to figure out what the complexity is, like sometimes the age range will give you an idea how complex the game is. Not always, because sometimes there's content. Say like a zombie-based game. Sometimes the age recommendations is up because of that, but that kind of gives you a guideline of complexity, or at least say ballpark. We got Castles, Mad King Ludwig back in. This has been a real popular castle building one, and we also got these secret expansions. The Secret of Mad King Ludwig. I haven't really seen a lot on this, but since it's been such a popular game, we brought in the expansion. And let's see, dozens of hidden swans are scattered around. Let's see. Anyway, yeah, that's been a real popular one. There's a lot of people that liked Suburbia or did not like Suburbia. They tend to like this one a little bit better. because the Suburbia has a little bit more chain reaction things that some people really like, some people don't. So, but a lot of people tend to like this one a little bit better. But you know, everybody's different. So, we also got Tick to Ride, the base game, back in. We also got Lanterns back in. Actually, we also got a demo game version of it. It's going to be on a card for our Monday game night. Also, on International Tabletop Day, it'll be available to play. Lanterns is a real simple strategy type game, probably on the same lines as Splendor and that sort of thing. In this game, basically, on your turn, you're playing one of these cards, one of these tiles, and they'll give you cards depending on which directions you're sitting on. It's a 2 to 4 player game. So if you're sitting on this side of the table and it's facing towards you, you would actually get a blue one. But also, since it's connected to another tile of the same color, you'd actually get that one card as well. But what happens is the person sitting over here will get that blue tile, and both players on either side will get one of these gray tiles. And what you're trying to do, you're trying to get the certain amount of points by buying those things and changing them in. And it's a lot more complicated than that, but it's real easy to get into. It's like one of those games you're trying to do your own thing, but you're trying not to give what the other people need. So, and you're trying to be the first one to grab the different points and that sort of thing. So, and we got Carcassonne back in. We're trying to stock up a little bit heavier because it's been running a little bit low. We also got one of the expansions, the Inns and Cathedral expansions. A lot of the expansions people have been looking for, and they've been hard to find. And what the reason is they're coming out with reprints. These redid the artwork on Carcassonne. So on the expansions, they're coming up with artwork that matches what the current game has. But you can play with the old one or new. But if you search online, they're probably going to be really expensive because everybody's searching all over. We had like someone call the store that apparently that buys and sells on eBay and such. So he's going to buy it and sell it for a higher price. But unfortunately, we don't have too many of them. We got that expansion, the first expansion. We also got, was that the Hunters and Traders and Builders expansion, and we also and the Tower expansion. There's also a few standalones as well. So that's all we got on that. Let's see, what else do we get it in? We also we sold our Cthulhu's Vault, and we just got a resupply of it in. This is kind of basically it's a storytelling game. Some real about old Cthulhu theme. So if you're really into the storytelling game, you might want to take a look at that one. It's worth taking a shot at or taking a look at. So you got Cash and Guns. This is a real popular game, just because it's wacky and it's like something everybody get into. It's all about splitting up loot. You're a bunch of crooks sitting around the tables trying to split up the loot. And this is a little bit different from the first edition. They changed the rules a little bit. But you have these little foam guns where you're actually pointing at each other, saying, so, and you could shoot with using one of the either the bullet cards or a click card. You only have so many, so. But once whoever has the most loot at the end wins. It has a little bit different scoring mechanism than the original one does. I'm kind of torn which one's better, but but they're definitely both really good. So I kind of like to see them come to the expansion where you play by the original rules personally, just for variety's sake. And so what else we got? We got Once Upon a Time. Speaking of storytelling games. That's a real popular one. It's probably the most popular one we have. You're just trying to go through all your cards, improvising a story out of your head, and trying to get the whole story, just get to a happily after ending card. There's some points in the game where you can interrupt the other players and such, but there's a few expansions. There's some blank cards. This is the Nightly Tales expansion, and there's Seafarers expansion. Seafarers, might be thinking of a different game. Seafaring Tales and Enchanting Tales is a couple of different expansions. So there's a few different ones like that. And we got Zombicide Black Plague. Zombicide is probably for gamers anyway, it's probably the most popular zombie style game. This one's more set in the Middle Ages, which is kind of, I find intriguing. So so we got that, and this is by Cool Mini or Not, and they have like real detailed minis. So they're always like top notch as far as that sort of thing. You know, they have to live up to their name and such. And let's see, a few things we got in last week. We're kind of we got our whole puzzle section kind of filled in a little bit more. We got our 3D puzzles kind of building back up. This one I really like to do myself eventually. It's a really cool little 3D castle. But some of these 3D castles some people might feel intimidated by, but there is a little cheat. I don't know if you can see on the camera or not, but there's like a little number down there on each puzzle piece and an arrow, so you can find out where the next piece connects. It's totally a cheat if you're looking at it from a puzzle person's point of view, but if you could do it together, put together as a model if you wanted to, or if you just need a little help, it makes it a little simpler. And the other new type of puzzle we just got in recently is from Ravensburger, our most popular line by far. We got these shaped puzzles. We got a few different ones. We got this dolphin one, so they're not a square type traditional shape puzzle. They're shaped like different objects. Got, like, you know, the Statue of Liberty and the Eiffel Tower and a couple other ones. And a couple other games we got in recently. We got Sneaky Cards. I believe I should talk to you about this last time, but it's hard to call it a game. It's like they call it an interactive scavenger hunt. So basically, you have these cards you give out and people will complete their tasks, and it's not really a winner or loser situation. It's just a scavenger hunt. Try to complete all your ones. You probably turn it into that, but we're probably going to be giving these out on Tabletop Day because it's a really unique idea. I really like the idea of their slogans are called Play It Forward. And I think that's about it. So we'll talk to you next time. Bye.